Alright, we're finishing up the summit contest. We're doing this race for you guys that just got first with 69,000 points. Let's see what it was globally. At least top 50,000 hopefully. Oh no! Yeah, start that. That's the problem with this view when you're like driving and it's got little things in the way. Little things turn into big things so quickly.
Thousands of views.
Bad.
Just
Yeah. Oh, this thing.
In those days, the joy was still the last scene of but by 4,000
Topics.
going to return, however, and didn't believe the Jedi would fall for that eventuality. He hated the Sith, and whenever he could, he attempted to learn their secrets to discover how best to stop them.
You can do better.
He was often rebuked by Master Bas, who repeatedly cautioned him that such curiosity could lead him to embrace the dark side himself. He was
I'll do better. I spent $1 getting this. There we go. Now you're done, bud. Hope you enjoyed your little time in the front there. That's it. Done deal. At first, using an ancient Sith stated many of the assassin and stood the spirit of freedom as well. The surviving assassin died through the flame sentence. Exile from the local land for Oh no!
That's better.
Into the back of the chancellor's skull, forcing him to echo a fiery speech that, thanks to the televised national crime, would broadcast to the entire galaxy. To quote the man himself, "The empire will rise again, and we are the spark. The flames will wash over the crumbling republic and consume all your works, re-establishing the glorious days of a
But my first one didn't go through.
far greater
But that one
than all
did.
of us
How?
can know. You can choose either to be a part
That's
of
some
this great
bullshit,
movement,
man.
or
Whatever.
you can stand in our way. We did all this to show how useless and ineffective the Republic is. We don't want your cooperation. The Republic is not even part of it. Following this, Hun killed the Chancellor, and he and Caldrema went to leave the Senate the same way they came in, dragging their massive balls behind them. They found their path blocked, however, by Vodosil's class. Hun's old master tried one last time to redeem his former apprentice, but couldn't rebuff the offer and attack. A ferocious rematch of their duel on Dantooine began, and at first, it seemed the two were evenly matched. But then Kun revealed some modifications that he had made to his lightsaber. He had added a second blade to it. Wielding history's first double-bladed lightsaber, Kun butchered his former master and then left himself with his allies. As a quick side
Okay, what do we want to do?
was the first being to use a saber staff in the universe. Its use of
So far, that's the winner.
Tales of Jedi comics actually predated the first appearance of Darth Maul by 2 years as well. After leaving Coruscant, Exar Kun issued a command to the fallen Jedi he had recruited. All over the galaxy, they rose up and murdered their masters, from Ossus to Dantooine, throwing the Jedi Order into chaos. Hundreds of Jedi died in a single day, crippling the Republic military. With both the Republic and the Jedi Order close to the breaking point, Kun and his followers pressed their offensive. On Kun's orders, craft leader Alima Kito caused the 10 stars of the Kun cluster to supernova. creating a massive explosion that cleansed Ossus of life. The destruction of the Jedi homeworld was Exar Kun's greatest victory, but it was also his last victory. Following the raising of Ossus, the Republic Navy began a counterattack against Sith forces, wiping out their fleets one by one. All of Keldroma repented and returned to the Jedi, and most of Kun's Dark Jedi followers were killed. Kun was left only with his assassin, who he recalled to Yavin 4. With Republic forces in hot pursuit, Kun began an alchemical ritual intended to make him immortal, forcing the Massassi to sacrifice themselves en masse to keep his power. The ritual sent out a shockwave that scorched the entire moon, leaving none of the Massassi alive. By the time the Republic arrived at Yavin, the moon was devoid of life, and Kun was nowhere to be found. He was presumed dead. However, unbeknownst to the Jedi, the ritual had indeed made the spirit of Exar Kun immortal. He persisted in the Great Temple in Yavin 4 for millennia, outlasting even Darth Sidious himself, until he was ultimately vanquished by Luke Skywalker. Exar Kun's lasting legacy was not in his spirit's survival, however, but rather the effects he had over the course of galactic history. Only a handful of Sith Lords ever came as close to he had to destroying the Republic and vanquishing the Jedi, and only one would ever surpass him. Furthermore, he completely transformed the Sith as an order. All Sith orders after him would consist primarily of fallen Jedi, something that allowed the Sith to persist for millennia. In a recent video, we told the story of Marco Ragnos, one of the last great Dark Lords of the First Sith Empire. We spoke of how Ragnos ruled with an iron fist, crushing all who opposed him and bringing about the golden age of the Sith. But 5,000 years before the Battle of Yavin, Marco Ragnos died, creating a huge power vacuum. Two Sith Lords sought to take Ragnos' place, Naga Skau and Ludo Kresh. Both ended up proclaiming themselves Dark Lord of the Sith, but both of their reigns were short. In this video, we'll be telling the story of these two fierce rivals and how they brought down the Sith Empire. Let's revisit the reign of Marco Ragnos for a moment. From 5100 to 5000 BBY, Marco Ragnos ruled the Sith Empire with an iron fist, putting an end to centuries of Sith infighting caused by stagnation. The Sith Empire had long run out of systems to conquer, but Ragnos was able to maintain stability through political manipulation. By the end of his reign, the Empire was prosperous, ruled by a council of some of the greatest Sith Lords seen in centuries. Aside from Marco Ragnos himself, other powerful Sith Lords of the day included Simus, a disembodied head of Najark derived from dark side power, Naga Skau, a powerful sorcerer directly descended from the original Sith Lords, and Ludo Kresh, a staunch traditionalist. After Ragnos' death in 5000 BBY, the Sith Empire stood at a crossroads. One faction of the Sith barely lasted long enough for the ceremony to be completed. Just a few moments
So I have to do
Capital
okay.
Cohoros
Do that.
though the seven worlds are closest to the archetypes, Arthur schemes
I'm not supposed to open the phone. Can I win? Fuck me, this thing's too slidey.
The
Switches.
Sith Council
Fuck.
sided with Kresh over Sadao, voting to execute
We can figure it.
Sadao.
Yo, one more to go. Just brace it.
Immediately, he and his most loyal Sith lords began preparing their armies for an all-out assault on the Republic. In secret, Sadao began training Gav Daragon as his apprentice at his secret stronghold on the dark side of Cardona.
This is way late. Yeah, way too late. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
use
One more
the
time.
weapon aborted to destroy.
Well, that's my system. My score. 2-3. Yeah, I'm doing all day now. It's 5.
Dark Jedi seeking to learn the Sith ways.
日经年。National chapter.
And placed a full third of the military under his direct command. The revanchists began to turn the tide of the
Fuck.
There, on the bridge, settled combat, and after a fierce battle, he killed him. He left the ship with Mandalorian's mask in his possession, preventing the Mandalorians from choosing a leader, and then he ordered the Nutrasui to activate the national generator. The super weapon created a gravitational anomaly that annihilated Malachor and killed untold thousands in the process. All ships, both Republic and Mandalorian, were drawn in toward the planet and crushed. The atrocity turned Malachor into a gaping wound in force. The remaining Mandalorians surrendered unconditionally. Revan had them disarmed and they scattered, splintering without Mandalor's mask into warring clans. The Republic was victorious in the Mandalorian Wars, but Revan
Not very expensive.
as he lay dying, Mandalore the Ultimate had told him he had been manipulated by the Sith into going to war, and Revan's worst fears were confirmed. He and Malak vanished, heading off into the unknown regions to seek answers. answers. What they found was the true Sith, an empire that waited on the edges of known space to crush the Republic. A threat so unfathomably terrifying that a Revenant quickly concluded there was no way the Republic would be able to survive it. And it wasn't just the Republic that was in danger, mind you. The true Sith were a threat to life itself. And that was where Revan came into its own. Others would have lost all hope for the galaxy upon finding what they found, while others would have rallied the Republic for a last stand in vain. But Revan did neither. Instead, his was a choice that no other being in the history of the galaxy made. The only way the galaxy would survive the true Sith, he believed, was if it was transformed into a military empire of its own right, a Sith empire. And so Revan became Darth Revan and Malak became Darth Malak, and the two declared themselves the Dark Lords of the Sith. But uniquely, Revan did not fall to the dark side, he chose the dark side, as one would choose a tool, something that no other being in galactic history had even been able to do without being pursued. He knew the true Sith had to be stopped and was determined to make whatever sacrifices were necessary to stop them. Together, with the newly built assassin droid HK-47, they travelled to Dantooine, Tatooine, Kashyyyk, Manaan, and Korriban in secret, discovering recorded star maps on each planet. They used these ancient artifacts to triangulate the location of a weapon that they believed was their key to victory, the Star Forge. Deep in the unknown regions, in the system which had once been the heart of the Ricardan Infinite Empire, Revan and Malak discovered the key to the ancient power of Rakata, a massive space station constructed 5,000 years before the dawn of the Republic. The Star Forge was the stars outside of
It's like it never happened.
What Raj? Are you kidding me? You got even one race here you fucking on, eh? That's it. Yeah, you're running. Really, fuck me. That son of a bitch is fucking chunky. Look at that top girl. I don't know if that moves me. Hey Google, open Audible.
All right, but your device has to be unlocked for that.
Pedestrians thronged the misty street outside the city. The smell of the lake was strong. Dead fish, other organic decay. Siren swept the crowd with his eyes, seeking anyone else that struck him suspicious. He saw 20 men in the crowded street. I can't make anyone in this crowd, he said. Two drunk groups staggered by, shouting a song in their native tongue. A young boffin revved his swoop engine and blasted into the air. Ubiquitous aircar taxis lined the street. Private aircars and a public speeder bus flew above them. Keep moving, Aaron said. No urgency. The spaceport occupied several blocks beginning across the street. Digital billboards affixed to its side played advertisements for everything from vacation homes to energy bars to dead homes. Siren sympathized with that practice. Moving with forced casualties, they cut across the street, eliciting the honk of a signal man and a raised fist, headed for the nearest entrance to the spaceport. Don't look back, Aaron said. You're there. How do you know? I know. The doors to the spaceport opened. Baggage traps opened by droids, followed by a dozen or so recent arrivals of several different sentient species. Doors closing behind pictures of the taxi drivers. Brad sat on a bench inside the spaceport, pressed between a female rodent on his left and a male Ithorian on his right. The Ithorian smelled like leather and hummed a tune in his two hands. Brad watched Siren and Woman into the spaceport. Siren glanced around, suspicion in his eyes. But Brad had spent years perfecting his own conspicuousness, a skill invaluable to his son. And Siren's eyes were open.
It's like it never happened.
The his jaw and sent them to the earpiece as concealed. He's wary. Keep your distance. Raph did not want Siren to sense danger and pulled before Raph located the target. His team had stolen aboard Siren's ship hours earlier in the search. Other than a routine visit from one of the port's maintenance inspection teams, no one had been aboard since. His team was stationed at the ship, keeping an eye on the Raph watched Siren and the woman and using his own. Listen to him. best sound. Studying the faces,
Let's fucking laugh at them.
looking for anyone else who might be watching. Faces help as if they pursue as they move right into us. When he could stop himself, he turned and shot a glance backward. Through the sea of faces, he glimpsed the two men Aaron described in the sea. Both saw him looking at them. The two men choiced himself. They don't know, he said. Aaron was staring at the wall to his screen that showed a news piece about the negotiations on Alden. A breakthrough in negotiations that captured. A human, his dark hair combed back over a wrinkled face. Zero did not recognize him. The tag below his image named him S. Did you hear what I said? She pulled her eyes away from the screen and looked at him. I heard you. What do you think they want? Zero had made a lot of enemies since signing on to the exchange, but he figured those pursuing them wanted the Yang spice. They want the cargo taken enforcement, he said. They hopped on an auto walk and sped them across the port. Through the transparency of windows along one wall, they could see freighters and other small starships sitting on the port's landing lines. Crane drones loading and unloading. He used the reflection of his transparency to determine if the men were still behind him. They were, but he still could not tell if there were more or just two.
I didn't realize that's what I had.
They just got on the
in
auto walk
DeLorean.
behind us, Siren said, as the men followed them onto the belt. Tell me what it is, Siren. The cargo. He did not hesitate, though he did not look at them when he answered. Instead, he stared at his own reflection in the transparency. Egg spice, she said. It is like in silence. She answered quietly. It's like the board organization. How did you fall out of the order and go off looking for murder? It's a long story, yes. So is it. She stared at his face. His paper. He saw him. I'm sorry. I'm not proud of it. She said, "It's a goodness. You do what you do," she said. "You do what you must." They switched walks, like an honest man.
Remix.
Zero wondered the same thing. Sensations. Ahead, he saw the landing craft with Captain Red Bull's top. A long cargo tube of the 2 acres against Fudge Hill. Then the woman before it waved to each other, smiling to the prince. Another 2 men lived in his engine. One sat on a chair near the door that led up to the end of the room. The fourth man sat open. The second baseman turned carefully into the expensive Zero watching. Do you know where it is? Aaron asked. It's on my ship, he said. The exchange uses jacked maintenance trains to place a cargo into the sea. Seer glanced back and saw the two men who Seer. Then the mother. Both used their weapons. Then Seer Seer and from all around, the fall to the ground, it doesn't really stop to the work and it's about the children leading them slowly to the water. Going to see it, other stay close. And single summons of the spell of the see it before. Its fate is judged.
I have no idea.
Seer grabbed Aaron and pulled her down by her rock-shaped body was facing her demons. And the three men holding her over her. She raised the shoulders to the smoke. The droid they shot. Another face. Get on the ship. But even the restless boat, get the goal. The post, the conventions chair, and the bodies of passers-by. Just walk hard. It slammed into his chest and sent him sliding 3 meters along the floor. The impact blew the breath from his lungs and left him gasping. Black smoke spattered on the floor and making his arm fast. He kept his wits, despite the pain. He said, "You roll over on your stomach and fly." As he pulled spun, last bolt of the horns and kills him. A bolt seemed to be. There was anger in the sound of plastic hands, hands and cities. A sharp attack sleep. That seemed stronger. There was almost spared in serious injury. The impact sent the jail left his hand running, and the blast was hitting on the floor. The floor is literally he never lied about this.
Mulligan!
Bounded over the dead man and through the transparent steel doors to the landing way. speed of 2 minutes flight. Zero approached. One hand on the aircraft fired 3 shots, trying to target the ground to the speeder. So the target is it's fire. Your turn shot. Siren screams. He refused to shots rang off the whole battlefield. He required 9 bullets behind him. Aaron deflected several shots into the wall. 6 bullets split over. Stuart grabbed Aaron and climbed in. Stop. I'm trying to get us out of here. You'll rest.
The huts were hundreds of faces stared out of the sparse windows of the spaceport. Behind the faces, he saw security droids with blue uniform security officers speeding along the highways. Some of the officers turned to the officers, pointing fingers outside in wrath and they hear sirens in the distance.
I think it's clear,
said Darren. Rats nodded. He regretted leaving his dead behind, but their identities would tell the authorities nothing. They'd all been surgically altered several times over. Their current identities would not be traceable to the huts. Keen set the speeder down on the landing pad. Brat, Darren, and Long hopped in. Move, Brat said. Keen brought the speeder up and punched the acceleration. The wind whipped over them. Keen kept the speeder low and mixed with the traffic in the heart of the Yinta Lake. Vrath kept an eye behind them for pursuit, but saw none. We are clear, he said. Keen slowed the speeder and changed course, heading for their safe house. Lom started a stream of expletives that lasted 3 minutes. When he finished, Darren said, "The Hut said nothing about Jedi involvement." They didn't. Vrath agreed, though he doubted his contact with the Huts had known. "What are the Jedi doing with the Spice Runner?" Darren asked. Vrath shook his head, pondering. Jedi involvement made no sense. Unless maybe the Jedi want to put their agents on Coruscant, and they're using a Spice Runner to get her there. Darren interrupted, seemingly unimpressed with the explanation. "So how do they get through the Imperial blockade and get to Coruscant? You can't just fly up to an Imperial cruiser." "No," Brett said. still thinking. You can't. But he's gonna have something in mind. The spice needs to get there, and get there fast. Right. Wrath made up his mind. Keen, get me a razor. Why? What are you gonna do? Darren asked. I'm gonna fly right up to an Imperial cruiser. Wrath did not waste time with further explanation. The authorities would be searching for them once they analyzed video of the battle at the spaceport. Probably the Exchange already had the video too. They'd be hunting Wrath and his team also. Get to your ships. Get off planet, Wrath said. His team had landed in the bush outside Yinta Lake and had not registered with planetary control. We rendezvous in 3 standard days at the usual place, Nord Pentel. You would get one more chance at stopping the exiles. Zirid found Aaron limping through the corridors toward the cockpit. We're away, he said. Safely, it seems. I got nothing but normal traffic on the scanners. Good. Now what? Now we go to Coruscant, she said. How will we get through the Imperial blockade? Well, that's complicated. Why don't you go take care of that, Mike? Why don't you take care of that arm? I need to eyeball the cargo. You don't need to come. I think I won't. Med bay is forward and starboard. She smiled. Cold toe for your cuts. Cold toe for your cuts. Yeah. A soldier's phrase for medical care. There's food in the galley, he said. Protein bars and glucose supplements mostly. Help yourself. You're still eating like a soldier. I still do lots of things like a soldier. Just not the most important things. She headed off, and he headed toward the cargo bay, sneaking up on the crates as if they were easily started. Small, maybe a meter on the side, tiny in the otherwise empty hold. He didn't know what he'd expected. Something bigger, he supposed. They seemed like a great deal of trouble for such small containers. He ran his hands over them and decided he did not want to see the spice after all. He headed back to the cockpit to pilot his ship. The hail from Orin was already blinking. He punched it. Go, he said. Our hackers have the film for the spaceport. I have seen your little incident. Incident? I was shot twice. Facial recognition on the apparent leader of the hit team gives an ID of Wrath's eyesore. Apparently, he's an elementary school teacher from the Corps. I think we can safely assume that is fake. Who is he? Free agent, we think. Probably works for the Hux. They wouldn't want the End Spies to get to Coruscant. They're at odds. Bye. So that's all I have. How are you planning to get the spies to Coruscant, Z-Man? I'm not telling you a tripping thing, though. You have a position. I'll get it there. The dog. Oh, Chuck. Goodbye, Z-Man. Fine. Aaron. Siri. We started punching forces and Aaron easily. It had been a long while since anyone had shipped. The bandits stuff. Bandits looks good. So, yes. She eyed the man. That's not really close to the worst. He said, it's going to take us to the system. That's a dead system, she said. On the edge of Imperial space. He nodded. Supply convoys stopped there to skim the gas giants for hydrogen. I don't understand. What's the plan to get to Coruscant? I thought you had a plan, he said. What? Small. Joke. Not funny. The plan's here. It's dangerous. Aaron said that off. She stared up at cockpits that flew into the velvet. hyperspace, waiting for you to restore.
I'm going to piggyback Batman on the Imperial ship.
Well, what does that mean?
It means what it sounds like. I heard about it in flight school back in the service.
You heard about it? Zira continued as if she had said it.
Centuries ago, smugglers used to jump into and out of hyperspace milliseconds after a Republic ship, say, being supply ship heading for Coruscant. The smuggler comes out of hyperspace and goes cold except for thrusters.
Consider it. Hard to pick up in sensors.
Right. But only if you come out in the supply ship's deck. And only if you come out and get cold right away.
You'd have to know right where they come from.
And they did.
Zira knew all the details of every hyperspace thing. He knew where Imperial ships entered hyperspace and their ultimate destination. Then
you latch on.
Darren's eyes looked as wide as Rodian's. You latch on?
An electromagnetic seal. That part's easy to do.
They'll feel it. Zira nodded.
Gotta be a big enough ship. You gotta latch onto a cargo boat or something simple. Something like that to be empty. Then, once you get through the atmosphere, you disengage the seal and float away into clear sky.
It sounded ridiculous when he spoke. Blue eyes sobbed, staring. This is your plan?
Such as it is. You have something better?
Who's ever done it?
No one I know. When the Republic learned of it, they adjusted their sensor scans to look for it. No one's done it in centuries.
But the Empire won't know about it.
So I hope.
He tried hard not to see the doubt in her expression. It echoed his own.
This is all I've got, Aaron. It's this or nothing.
She stared off quickly, the turn of her thoughts visible behind the green veil of her eyes. Batman was almost clear of gravity wells.
I can still drop you some,
He said, hoping she would not take it.
You don't have to.
She smiled. This is all I've got, too.
Aren't you okay?
She chuckled, fading quickly.
Aaron, you all right?
I feel like I'm not all going to be she said. It's been hours.
A lot can happen in a handful of hours,
He said. She nodded and drifted on.
Aaron.
She came back to him from wherever she'd been. I'm with you, she said. And I think I can help make this work.
Chapter 8.
Turned Razor's neck loose, and it gently close to Coruscant. Zero jumped which Brandt doubted. Wrath's modified Imperial dropship would still beat Fat Man to Coruscant. His work required much travel. Razor had the best hyperdrive credits could buy. When the Navicom had finished its calculations, he engaged the hyperdrive, and the ship blazed through space. He hit the cockpit and watched the bulkhead-mounted chrono tick away the seconds and minutes. After a short time, he disengaged the hyperdrive, and the black of normal space replaced the cerulean churn of hyperspace. In the distance, Dayside Coruscant gleamed against the black of space. The planet, entirely coated in duracrete and metal, always reminded Brandt of a giant calm, the mainspring of the Republic. He wondered what would befall the Republic now that the spring had unfolded. For a moment, he turned nostalgic for his time in the Imperial Army, when he had turned Republic soldiers into ragdolls at over 300 meters. He'd had 53 confirmed kills before getting thrown out of the service, and regretted not one. He hated everything about the service, except for the killing, and how he felt after winning a battle. He imagined how it must feel for Imperial forces to walk as conquerors on Coruscant's surface, for the Navy to own the space around the jewel of the Republic. Even from a distance, Wrath could see the silver arrows of 2 Imperial cruisers patrolling the black forest. A third orbited a moon. Ordinarily, a flotilla of satellites whirled around the planet too, but Wrath saw none. Perhaps the Empire had destroyed them as part of its forced communications blackout of the planet. 2 of the dozen or so fighters escorting the nearest cruiser, the new Mark 7 advanced interceptors, peeled off and sped toward Wrath's ship. He made sure his weapon systems were powered down and put his communications gear on open hail. Almost before he lifted his hand from the control panel, the Navy pinged him.
"Unidentified vessel,"
said a stern voice that sounded like every Imperial communications officer he'd heard during all his time at the port.
"You are in restricted space. Power down your engines and deflectors completely, and prepare to be towed. Any deviation from that instruction will result in your immediate destruction."
Wrath did not doubt it.
"Message received. Will comply."
He powered down his engines and deactivated his deflectors.
"I need to speak to the OIC. I have information of interest to the Empire."
The fighters buzzed his dropship. One of them swooped around an under laser. As it pulled out in front of him, it activated an electromagnetic tow. A glowing blue line formed between the 2 ships, and the Mark 7 started pulling him through space. The other fighter maintained position behind Razor, so he could blow Wrath from space should it be necessary. And the fighter pulled Wrath over the cruiser's landing until they reached an isolated landing where 24 troopers in full blue waited. Along with a tall, red-headed naval officer. Unstripped from the children, he saw himself and his hands over his nose. By the time Razor's landing clanged off the metal deck of the cruiser, he was staring at the dead eyes of 14 TH-17 Blastoids. "Secure him," the naval officer said. 2 of the armored troopers shouldered hands and rushed him. He did not resist as one of the flex stoppers in his wrists, and the other patted him down.
"He is unarmed,"
the one said, his voice then activated a mechanical sound. "Search the ship," the naval officer said. "I want to see his flight records."
"Yes, sir,"
responded the troopers, and several of them were able to ship the search.
"There's nothing of interest to me."
Yes.
"Can't report to me. This is right back as the weapons go."
The naval officer smiled, a tight pulse gesture, and walked up to them. His unbelievable smile was there. Always on his pale face with the office. Brown and true, high-kicked and close from the words. "I am Commander John. So be very careful about it. Your nerves are flying in restricted space. Punishment is execution and your imprisonment is entirely upon discretion. It depends upon how successful the answers you provide to my questions." I understood it. "What is your name? Where did you come from?" He barely remembered the name his mother had given him. He offered the one his profession had most recently given him. "As I said, I flew here directly from the military. Unfortunately, that sounds right. We have information from the entrance to the forest." The naval officer popped his head. "You really thought I thought sounds right?"
"Former special detachment from the 403rd Company B."
Imperial Square. Wrath was impressed that Jard knew his own designation. "Wow. That's also enough 403rd. And they told me where it was. You propose to take Jard looked hard at Wrath.
"You will want to hear what I have to say."
Wrath said.
"It concerns the Jedi."
Jard studied his face. He looked away. He said to the soldier standing in front of him, "If Darth Maul wishes to speak to you, do so. If he does not, then he can free it."
"Mistake."
"Shut up."
One of the troopers said, and cocked him in the back of the head. 3 troopers escorted Wrath out of the landing. any tool that couldn't exist. It had been years since he'd been aboard an Imperial ship, and they remained exactly as he remembered. Except purely functional killing machines.
This one was a sniper detached from the 403rd.
Said one of the troopers to him.
So he says. That true?
Said it.
I heard things about that unit.
Rat said nothing. Merely stared at the tinted smoke of his head.
70 items Superman is what I heard.
The trooper holding his shoulder gave him a shoulder.
This one don't look like much.
Rat smiled. He didn't look at much, but looked at himself. The soldier went deeper into the bowels of the ship. The corridors narrowed, and blue uniformed security personnel started to appear at doors that answered only to certain utilities. Rat had been in Imperial bridge many times, usually with insubordination. Before they reached the bridge, one of the troopers, the one with a sergeant symbol on his shoulder blade, held up a hand for the others to stop. He cocked his head to the side as he listened to something over his helmet speaker. He glanced at Brad as he listened.
Confirmed.
He said to whoever he was speaking. Then to his men.
Garden August wants him on the bridge.
The three men shared a look and reversed course.
Lucky you, 403rd.
Said the trooper holding him. Exploding into motion, Brass drove a kick into the chest plate of the trooper in front of him, sending him flying into the sergeant and knocking both of them hard against the walls. Then he spun behind the third, while flipping his bound arm over the trooper's head. He maneuvered the binders under the neck ring of the helmet with his fingers. Hill, just enough to lift the third. The man's gag sounded loud in his helmet. Fingers clawed at Brass's arms. He was probably starting to see spots. Brass released him, shoved him. The entire exchange had taken perhaps 4 seconds. The two men he knocked against the wall had their rifles aimed at his head. Brass held out his arms for them to hold. Until he might rise. He said, Batman came out of hyperspace in the travel system. Zero immediately engaged the ion engines, flew the freighter into the system's sea. Debris from a partially dispersed accretion cluster around the system's star filled the black with ionized particles. Some fluke of solar system evolution had resulted in an orange gas turning, forming a few 100,000 kilos outside the far border of this. The Zero wheeled back in the swirl, deftly dodging asteroids and smaller planets. He moved the ship to the end of the disk and maintained his position, though it taxed his pilot skill. Now and when an Imperial convoy heading to Coruscant comes down. How will we know it's heading for Coruscant? We won't know. When Imperial Navy ranks call for a convoy heading to the continent world to have an escort of at least 3 frigates. You see that? It's probably heading for Coruscant. And if we don't see that, Zero. Look. What's your wrong? What's the convoy isn't for Coruscant? Then it'll jump where it's jumping, and we'll jump to Coruscant. Mere naked, within range of an Imperial fleet. You're not going to miss her. He tried to convey with his grin the confidence of dignity. She only shook her head and stared at the instrument. The medical transport came and Zero ignored him. A single creature came later and still for several years. Zero's instrument showed another Rolls-Royce description. Convoy. Resupply supercars, full of frigates, bristling weapons. That's all. He said, "You ready?" She said. The lift doors opened to reveal a short corridor that led to the double doors of the cruiser's garage, where a line of soldiers stood in the lift. Two workers came in the lift doors. The 3 troopers were escorted back to the lift and had walked towards the car.
He's dangerous.
The sergeant said.
Watch him. Yes, sir.
Said the two troopers. The expressions
briefly. They flanked him, but did not touch him because they left him. While the doors opened to reveal the fingers multiple a score of naval officers, all human, sat at the posts, covered over the view screens. A huge view screen to the left provided an unfriendly view of Pearson surrounding space. Very quick conversation and looked grounded about trolls. Swivel chairs set the bridge to a raised ground. Commander Jard stood beside him, one hand on its armrest, pouring the commander's second. He glanced at Brad and spoke to the man. He activated his own movement to hear the exchange. That's it. This all was true. He felt that they're showing up some troops that had set. Aldous rose and strode across the bridge toward Vrath. He stood well over 2 meters, and the black cape he wore looked like a pavilion tent. He never took his eyes from Vrath's face as he approached. Scars lined his face, and a network of blue veins made a patchwork of his bald pate. He was so pale, he had been almost a small breastplate that he wore in his knee close, but it was his eyes. Aldous was all darkness. The sun of him, of his power, radiated outward from his bloodshot gaze. He dismissed the guards who flanked Vrath, and with a gesture, used the force to pry open the binders on Vrath's wrists. He fell to the floor of the bridge with a dull clang.
You mentioned a Jedi to Commander Jard.
His voice deep and rough, sounded like stones grinding together.
I did, my lord.
Aldous' mere presence pulled the last words out of him.
Explain.
Vrath found it more difficult than he would have imagined to compose his thoughts.
Freighter is en route to Coruscant. A Jedi is aboard.
Just one.
As far as I know, just one. Yes,
Vrath said, nodding.
a woman. Human. Mid-30s, I'd say. Long, light brown hair. She's flying with a man named Zero Core. As far as I know, they are the only crew. How do you know this woman is a Jedi?
Vrath was startled. He was more steady.
So interesting.
Force. Held up his hands to show Aldous his wrists. Stood ready.
Tell me, what is aboard this ship, and why and when is it coming to Coruscant?
Vrath bumped up against the doors behind him. He considered lying, but did not think he could pull it off.
Egg spice, my lord. The ship is carrying egg spice.
He saw connections being made, conclusions being drawn, more questions forming in the deep wells of Malchus's eyes.
This Zerid Core is a spice runner.
He is.
Why would a Jedi associate with a spice runner for Athsizor? I don't know, my lord. And you?
Malchus loomed over him. All dark eyes, all dark armor, all dark power.
Are you a spice runner? A business rival, maybe?
The lie exited his mouth before wisdom could stop it.
No. No, I am a former Imperial. A sniper. I'm just doing my part for the Empire, my lord.
Malchus inhaled deeply, exhaled, the mechanical sound heavy with disappointment.
You are a poor liar. You are a rival spice runner, a killer in service to one of the syndicates that runs spice.
Vrath dared not deny it. He stood there, frozen.
pinioned by Malgus's eyes.
When is this freighter due to arrive? And how do they plan to get through the blockade?
Wrath found his mouth was dry. He cleared his throat.
They are coming soon. Today, they must.
Because of the egg spies.
Wrath could not leave Malgus's eyes.
I don't know how to get through. I'm trying.
Malgus stared at him for a long second. It felt like an eternity to Wrath.
You will remain on the bridge, Franchise. If this freighter and the Jedi it carries show up, I will overlook your illegal flight into restricted space. Perhaps I will even compensate you for your service. But if the ship doesn't show, then I will devise a suitable punishment for a spice runner found in restricted space. Does that seem to you unreasonable?
Wrath choked on his response.
My lord.
Excellent.
Malgus turned from Wrath, and Wrath felt as though the air had become easier to breathe. Malgus took a seat in his command chair and spoke to Commander John.
Commander, intensify all scanning until further notice. Any unusual readings are to be reported to me, and dispatch a squad of fighters to put eyes on all incoming ships.
There's the fighter fleet is otherwise assigned for it.
Use shuttles, then.
Yes, my lord, answered John. Wrath stared at the cruiser's view screen, hoping that Zira did not scratch the line for some reason. Or, just as bad, that Zira had somehow beaten him to Coruscant and already snuck through the watch. We have to jump right on their heels, Aaron. Aaron did not bother to respond.
She dwelled in the Force, floated in and on the long network of lines that connected all things one to another. Her consciousness expanded to see and feel everything near her. She focused on her perception of the passage of time. First on how it felt as she moved through it, then on spreading, stretching, until she could linger and listen, as if it were a moment. To Zira, it would appear that she were a universe function, existing simultaneously in multiple places. To her, it felt as if she smiled, seeing the moments that had before her, each one was a moment in which she could think, in which she could act. The effort taxed her, and she knew she could not maintain it for long.
Watch the scanner,
Zira said. His words a lifetime in the utterance. She did not watch the scanner. Her body could respond faster than any machine. Instead, she watched the view screen. The Imperial ships had finished their hydrogen skim and now maneuvered into a formation suitable for a hyperspace jump. The supply ships within the ring of the frigate escort.
They're forming up,
Zira said. The waves of his tension crashed against her, but she damned them off.